What is up, Cabbage Crew? It is Matt and it is John here reacting to Lilo and Stitch trailer. It is the remake live action trailer we are going to be reacting to. My first time reacting, John's second time reacting. He did oops. he did watch it this morning. But he's still going to get a secondary reaction. Maybe he missed something on the first time, and then we are going to give our thoughts on the trailer and what we think of the predictions, maybe of the film, whatever. John, anything you want to say before we begin, without spoiling any 2-minute trailer for me?
Sure.
Not that I've seen Lilo and Stitch anytime in the last 20 years, but what's your excitement for this movie? Where are you at from hot to cold?
Hi.
Was that like a not oh Jesus. Oh, you're trying to be Stitch. Oh,
I'm trying to be Lilo, of course.
I'm having a lot of secondhand embarrassment right now. Yeah, I mean, where's your excitement level for this movie? Are you
after I watched it?
No, just overall. Like when you heard live action Lilo and Stitch, what was your like initial?
I mean, it's Disney remakes. I'm not a fan of Disney remakes at all. Like, yeah, there might be a diamond in the rough, like eventually, or there might be one that I just can't think of right now. Like some people, I mean, we'll get into it, but after we watch, but like, there's a few that several people argue that are like, oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm still on the cusp of like, if it doesn't get you even remotely close to what the original brings you feelings wise, it's not worth it.
There is one for me that I think exceeded the originals, and we'll talk about that maybe later.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to that discussion.
Yeah. My excitement level, I think this movie has my biggest thing about remakes are like, I want it to be long enough away from, maybe we'll do a whole podcast on remakes, John.
Sure.
I want it to be long enough away from the original source material that you have a new generation watching whatever it is. It can be a new series. It can be a new telling of a story. It can be whatever it is, right? Like for instance, Harry Potter, I've said is not nearly far enough away from the original because a new generation has not started watching those films yet. So I will say with this movie, I can see a new generation watching it. We watched Lilo and Stitch when we were younger, probably 10-ish years old. I don't know when the original came out, but probably around.
It came out in 2004 or 2003.
Okay. Yeah, so I was like 10. So like there are a lot of people that are my age or maybe a tad earlier or older that their kids are like 8 to 12 years old that might want to go see this movie, maybe even younger. So I think that's a new generation of people, and Lilo and Stitch has been far enough removed where if you're talking about stocks of a franchise, the Lilo and Stitch stock was super low. So it's like, okay, time to remake it so then it comes back up and it can buy again.
Right.
Going back to Harry Potter, I don't think the Harry Potter franchise's stock was like dipping. I think it was still pretty high, Yeah. So I guess that would be like a good comparison to where I'm talking about. So
yeah.
All right, well, excited. Guys, subscribe for more reactions of trailers and shows. And like I said, we do a podcast as well once in a while. So
it used to be every week.
It used to be every week. Then it was every month. Now it's, well, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, definitely subscribe. We appreciate all the support, and we'll go ahead and jump into this.
Woohoo!
Go ahead and do your thing.
3.
Oh, whenever we're watching it on the same screen. Ready?
Yeah.
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment. Where is he?
He escaped.
He's trying to find the police cruisers.
He took the red one. What hideous planet is caught in your crosshairs?
Shooting star! I wish for a friend. Like a best friend.
What the hell?
I love the music. This is just
Oh, I love it.
He's so cute and fluffy.
He is your responsibility. Got it.
We promise.
Yeah.
Down from there!
Look like an angel.
No. Control him. Hey, what are you doing?
Talk like an angel.
No. Dogs on the table.
You sure that's a dog?
Yeah.
Rough.
Ew. We are not keeping this thing.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Or forgotten.
Stitch that.
Sometimes family isn't perfect. That doesn't mean they aren't good. That was close. I don't think you're supposed to drink that.
Oh my gosh. I'm very impressed, to be honest.
Agent Cobra Bubbles, we have a blue dog to catch.
No, wait. I like that.
No. I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch. 1.
Okay. I guess I'll just go first since this is my initial reaction. I'll give you real quick and then we can break it down. Very satisfied. I like the vibe. First things first. Stitch looks great. Stitch looks great. I saw like a couple of little like stills and I think a little thing in I think it was Comic-Con they showed, or maybe it was Disney D23. And I was like, okay, he looks okay. But actually, like on screen, he looks great. The little girl seems like she's okay. The sister looked good. It's really their whole relationship's based off of just the acting and how that duo connects emotionally. So we'll see. But so far, it looks solid. Visually, everything looks great. I love the story of Lilo and Stitch. So it's like, and it just from that trailer, it's like it kind of gave me the it kind of got me the chills a little bit. I mean, I don't love it that much, but I definitely was like when the music came on and they said what was the line when he said
Ohana means family.
Not that one. When he said
Stitch bad.
Yes, Stitch bad. Yes. When he said that, I was, because I remember that something like that in the movie. It's been a long time, but I was like, ooh, like I remember some of these little bits that happened in the movie, and those were brought back up. So yeah, I mean, what was your watching it for a second or a third, fourth time, who knows? Where are your reactions at, or where's your thought at?
I totally agree with you. It has the definite potential to be like objectively good for sure.
Right.
The the music, great. Stitch, I agree with you, nailed it. So far, I mean, still have to see the movie, but
right.
I think the plot is about, because it's essentially a remaking of the original cartoon. So I think the plot hopefully will be fine. I'm just questioning how it all comes together. Like, I'm very curious on like will Lilo's sister, I forget her name, but like from the original movie, because I think I saw the movie again like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, so it's kind of fresh. And obviously, like the cartoon made it like it emphasized that like she is solely responsible for Lilo,
Right.
like as a caregiver.
Right.
And so like I'm just curious on how they play that in this movie. Like is it that much of emphasis like where the audience as you're a kid, do you get that sense of like whoa, she isn't like my older sister, but she's also my caregiver, and like she is significantly older than me. And yeah, obviously they like it's obviously someone older than Lilo, and it's like probably roughly the same age difference, but does it relay that to the audience in a good way? And I don't know if it does that, and I'm curious.
At least not in the trailer, yeah.
Not in the trailer, but I'm just curious if they do that in the movie. And then there's also the chase where they're trying to track down Stitch from the original movie. You know, like we got a tiny glimpse of that in the trailer.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit eerie or weary. I don't know what the right word is, but weary about like I have a feeling it's going to be very cheesy, and it's going to let down.
Yeah, it's tough because we haven't, you know, we saw a small.
Yeah, but I have a feeling. I just hope it's not as cheesy as what I think it will be.
I will say that I feel like, I mean, this is the first trailer, right? I mean, I guess you could say whatever they showed at D23 was more of a teaser, if you can even call it that. But I will say, you know, the job of any trailer is obviously to get us more excited, but really the job of the first trailer is not only to introduce us to this movie and that it's coming out and the release and all that, but I would say it's just like to bring our emotions into it, you know? Because there's a lot of trailers that come out and you're like, okay, there's a lot of people that watch the first trailer and then they'll forget about it in 2 weeks. And I don't think people are going to forget that there's now going to be a Lilo and Stitch movie coming out in 3 months because
and it's just and it's a summertime movie. It's based in Hawaii, which like great plot making by whoever created it. And so it's a good children's summer movie to go see. Probably
it's a perfect movie, to be honest, because we can all say it. Disney has very much had I guess you could say agendas, and not in a bad way, but they've been wanting to bring out more culture in different franchises. Either if that's Moana or if what's the dead franchise called? It's the Undead. Coco.
Oh yeah.
Coco, and again, not necessarily a bad or a good thing, but they love bringing different cultures into
it's usually
into
Coco,
the mix.
I believe was Mexican.
Mexican culture. So, and this is another a cultural film that was in the early 2000s that is ready for a remake. It's been about 20 years. That it's a perfect movie to make a live action because we have the technology now for the CGI to look good, for the aliens, for Stitch, for some of the space chase sequences. So I mean, I think this is pretty much a perfect movie to have as a remake. And Lilo and Stitch, like I said, when it comes to stock, it's like the stock of Lilo and Stitch is so low to buy because not a lot of people talk about Lilo and Stitch. It's a great movie. It had a series and everything like that. But it's just one of those franchises not a lot of people talk about. Even though it's such a great movie and it has good.
It's underrated, is what it is.
Good lessons. Great relationship between the sisters. So I'm excited for it. So the movie I said that I thought is probably my favorite live action adaptation Disney is The Jungle Book.
Okay.
And this kind of gives me that same vibe, right? It's like it was when Jungle Book come out, maybe
2017,
16, 17. The original Jungle Book came out in the 90s, so it was like, all right,
time.
I mean,
I thought it came out in the like 60s or 70s.
Well, I mean, there's multiple Jungle Books. I'm talking Disney's original Jungle Book.
Yeah, Disney's, yes.
You are absolutely right. I thought it was an early 90s film. Holy crap. 67.
Yeah.
You are 1,000% right. Yes. So yes, very much a long time due. It was about 50 years. It was 50 years. So I mean, again, that's one of those franchises where it was, and Jungle Book is a public domain, so there's anyone can make Jungle Book. So there might have been other Jungle Book movies. I know there was one relatively, maybe like an 18 or 19 afterwards, but it was just time. The technology was there to make it look really good when it came to all the different animals, being, quote unquote live action. So it just felt right in the time. Like if they remade a Cinderella movie right now, it just wouldn't feel right. It's like, we just got one 10 years, 6, 7 years ago. And that franchise is still kind of in our people already. What?
Cinderella is being,
there you go.
Sorry.
Snow White.
Is it Snow White?
Snow White is, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's just certain franchises like, Snow White is ready for a remake, to be truly honest. It's been a long time, and we haven't had a live action Snow White before. And that movie is very, very old.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some movies, franchises that it just doesn't feel right yet. But this one feels right. That trailer was great. Any last comments you want to make?
No, I mean I'll probably go see it. Give my two cents. No, I mean I'll probably go see it.
Yeah, no, I will tell you.
But like I'm just a little weary of it because Disney has been very disappointing. I like the I disagree with the Jungle Book personally, but
Okay.
like we can talk about that at a different podcast. Because like I gave Disney 3 strikes on live action. Yep,
I get about 19.
First one was Jungle Book. That was strike 1. Strike 2 was Lion King. That was a total disappointment. And then strike 3 hasn't happened yet. Like really? Officially. Like I saw half of Beauty and the Beast, and I wasn't all that impressed. But
there's been some good, like Aladdin was okay.
The trailer. I don't even want to. If I saw Aladdin, there'd be strike 3 for
strike
me.
3. Yeah, it was.
Will Smith as Genie.
Okay.
I can't do. I nope.
Yeah, Will Smith as Genie wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, and it was okay. Like, and that goes back to like because it really is like the time, the difference, but the time in which the remake happens. Because if a movie comes out and it's been 30 years, I'm like, okay, I have the original, and this is a nice film for maybe kids that never watched, let's say, Lilo and Stitch. Like if I had a daughter that was 5 and I just never introduced her to Lilo and Stitch, now I'm like, hey, hon, let's watch the show I watched when I was a kid, and then we can watch the new one. And I can introduce her, and all of a sudden she loves it. And so it could be a great tool of getting them into older franchises where it's like, if it's a remake of, I mean, like if they remade, I mean, I know they're making a sequel, but if they remade a movie like Shrek, and I know the first one came out early, but like Shrek 4 came out like what seemed like only like 6 or 7 years ago. So it's like, do we really need a remake at this point?
Right.
So that's how I feel about that. Another great thing, and this is going to be me taking knock a little bit on Disney. Disney, we can both say, has very much, for those that want to say that Disney has gone quote unquote rogue and woke, to be honest. I will say, because sometimes it's forced, and I don't think having things like culture and stuff like that is that's all great, but when it's forced, and sometimes it's forced in a negative way. It will never be forced in this movie. I'm going to this movie being like, I know stuff is not going to get forced,
right?
Because anything they bring up with culture, Hawaiian stuff, the cast, I already know it's meant to be this way. So, and nothing else. Sometimes it's just it can sometimes get jarring. And that I think is a big positive with this. So
I don't disagree.
Right. Anything else you want to say?
Nope. Just looking forward to it. Can't wait to see it. Summer fling. Or at least it's in May.
Summer fling.
It's in May, but
yeah, it's summer. Cool. All right. Subscribe. We appreciate you guys checking in. And
tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, tell your boss.
See you next time.